If you have ever felt that your test anxiety is getting in the way of your learning, you're not alone. If you've ever felt that your test anxiety has held you back from believing in yourself and your ability to achieve your goals, you're not alone. If you've ever wondered why you take tests and clam up and your heart pounds and you sweat and your breathing pace increases and you have a headache and you feel like you're going to throw up or pass out and your mind goes blank, then maybe you have test anxiety. Either way, you're in the right place. And in this video, I'm going to shed some light on the root causes of test anxiety and some of those intrusive thoughts of fear and worry and panic, and then identify your personal story and some of the emotions that are associated with it. And then we're going to go through some breathing techniques together and some mindset shifts to overcome it. So I'm so excited you're here. So first thing first, has it ever felt that your body's response to your test anxiety is disproportionate? Meaning you're taking a test, yet you feel like you're being chased by a lion, tiger, or bear, and you can't calm yourself down. And you wonder, what's wrong with me? You're not crazy. Your body is your subconscious mind talking to you, and there is a way through this. And you might find that some of these techniques we go through today don't just help with test anxiety or test taking, but also everything else too. The anxiety of, getting on a plane or packing up for a move, or even for some of us that have extreme anxiety, like going to the grocery store or calling to order takeout or public speaking even. So I want to first gain a little bit of insight into the anatomy of anxiety so we can really understand the root causes a little more deeply. Now, Louise Hay, who is a healer, teacher, she healed herself from cancer, and she describes anxiety as not trusting the flow and the process of life, not feeling safe. And Joe Dispenza explains this a little bit further, that any traumatic memory that happens to us will change a person's biology. And he says that we think neurologically within the circuits of that experience. So we feel chemically within the boundaries of those emotions. And this is really important because how we think and feel in these states becomes our state of being. So let's get into your own direct experience for a moment. When do you feel most anxious in your life? Consider maybe recent events or changes and moves, stress about finances, about health or relationships, maybe the unknown, and whatever it is, okay? Take a look at it objectively for a moment, and almost like you're studying yourself like an anthropologist studying a foreign culture, okay? And since we're looking at test anxiety, I'm going to offer an insight technique called the 5 Why method. And this was originally developed in the 30s, I believe. First using the Toyota Corporation in their manufacturing process to identify underlying causes of mechanical issues that were affecting the production in order to solve them. So consider these experiences you've had in your life, not just while taking tests, but anxiety in general. And if you are watching this for someone else, consider maybe when someone else appears to be the most overwhelmed and anxious, okay? And I'm going to use my own experience as an example. So we're going to ask these questions with why. We're going to continuously get to the root cause by asking why, just digging a little deeper. So number 1 is defining the problem. So anxiety. I can't test well because of test anxiety, and it affects my performance. And it affects my goals, it affects my achievement, and it affects overall where I want to go. There's a limit. So the problem is anxiety. Now why? Right? This is the first why. Why? Why do I have anxiety? Well, because I was never good at taking tests in school. Does this sound familiar to you? Why? Remember the second why. Why? Why do you believe you weren't good at taking tests in school? Well, because I always got bad test scores. I had the pressure to perform. I never tested well. I would get nervous, and doubt myself, and then kind of either go into a spiral where my mind would go blank and I would get overwhelmed. So, third, why? Why did you feel overwhelmed? Well, in my case, because I was afraid I was going to fail. Now, pause here. The number one cause of test anxiety, by the way, for children and for young adults, is not learning healthy ways of feeling, coping, and releasing the emotions associated with failing. So consider for a moment shame, sadness, anger, defeat, hopelessness, what one feels when they fail or when they're scared to fail. And when not able to learn how to self-soothe and still build a healthy sense of confidence with failing, how detrimental that can be for the future. So consider that, okay? So now we continue our whys. Why were you afraid of failing? Well, because I didn't want to disappoint myself, my parents, my family. Why? Right? Why were you so afraid of disappointing your parents? Well, because they, worked very hard for me to succeed. Why? And we continue to dig here and we start to find some interesting things, because then I wouldn't get their approval, or the love that I felt may have been conditional to my test scores or my performance. Or maybe guilt for not studying enough. Like what if this is all for nothing? What if I'm really not good enough? What if even if I pass this and I still won't succeed? What if this was all a mistake? What if I'm a mistake? Will I ever be good enough? Have you ever dug yourself into this grave before? Okay, boom, we're hitting the bottom. We went all the way down into the whys, and here we go. This is the ticket. All right? I have realized through my own failures around anxiety that the anxiety itself is a superpower. It's a compass that cannot be overlooked. So at this point, it's really important to shift the thinking from the things that weigh us down or limit us can actually be what inspires us and gives us greater resiliency. So here, the self-worth and self-esteem and self-confidence that were diminished as a result of not being able to have the coping skills around failing are related to the nervous system's response during times of stress. Okay, just let that sink in for a moment. So the instinct then when we feel anxious, so again to Louise Hay, fear, not trusting life, not feeling safe, when we feel anxious, we want to avoid or suppress those emotions that we're feeling. And the fear of that failure and the pressure to perform lives in the body. And those memories from the past, they can still be affecting the present. Now, even if the test you're taking or studying for isn't determining the college you're going to, because you might be, an adult now, or maybe it's not related to your father's approval, but your body does not know the difference between what your mind is telling you and the emotions that you're generating from it, because the anxiety response is automatic. Okay? So if you feel that at this point with your test anxiety, you feel quite compelled to either disregard, dismiss it, I don't know, maybe take a pill, maybe, jot yourself with coffee, or you have all these different coping mechanisms, but they never really deal with the underlying problem. Honor what you're feeling. Do that why exercise and get to the root cause. Why am I feeling this anxiety? What am I afraid of feeling? What am I running from? And here we look at it objectively. We're not belittling ourselves, or making ourselves small or ashamed or foolish. There's none of that. There's none of that, because you empower yourself with it. You empower yourself. And feeling anxious is just showing you what you care about. It's showing you where you long to be free, you see? All right? So start to identify the thought patterns. You can make those shifts in the moment and notice when you're talking to yourself down the hole and when you're talking to yourself with life-affirming ways to actually lift yourself up. And you can only do that when you notice what's pulling you down. Okay, so that first step is awareness. And then, the physiological symptoms of anxiety, the brain is attempting to control the life's events, the outcome of the test, because you don't feel safe. And this process of trying to control circumstances that are beyond your control are what creates more stress. So here we go. To take this a little bit deeper, according to Joe Dispenza's work, the process of this change requires us to become very conscious of our thoughts. And then we can have some type of autonomy so that we can respond to them with distance, with awareness, with compassion. And this is the key to create coherence in the brain and the heart and focus our attention. Increased brain coherence and overall energy will increase our ability to focus. It'll increase our ability to stay in the present moment. Okay? So, you might be thinking, okay, I understand all this. I get the mindset, I get the root cause, I know all of this, but as soon as I get to the test, I forget everything and I can't access any information in the middle of a panic attack. And my heart is racing, my palms are sweaty, I can't calm down. Like, what do I actually do? What do I do? All right? And here's what we're getting to. I get you. I really, really get you. And I'm thinking, when I lived in Israel as a 9-year-old, there was a car bomb that blew up a few blocks from our house on the way to school one day. And I remember they would pour Coca-Cola on the streets to dissolve the blood. And every time I heard a toilet flush after that, I had these PTSD moments in my body that had nothing to do with the toilet flushing, but had everything to do with that experience that hadn't been fully integrated and processed. And then I would see Coca-Cola, just someone drinking it anywhere, and I'd get sweaty. So engaging and understanding that 9-year-old part of me is one of the parts that obviously, has had to learn how to work with anxiety. So working with that 9-year-old part, calming that 9-year-old part, listening to that 9-year-old part is actually supporting me taking tests in the present moment and actually mitigating that anxiety I feel just sometimes when I leave my house. So that's a very obvious correlation. And sometimes the trigger and then the, sometimes it's not as linear as that, It's not as direct as that. And there are some very powerful Toltec shamanic techniques to recover energy and sort of sweep and gather what is lost or what was given away or parts of yourself that you've kind of distanced from in traumatic events. And some of those techniques I do share in my Sanctuary membership or in one-on-one coaching. But here, I want to share with you some breathing techniques. And this is where we're getting into the how, okay? And these are things that I wish I had learned and that my family had learned to be able to help me. But if one of your coping mechanisms is to run or take a bath, and that's all amazing and good, what's so beneficial of having techniques to do in the moment is you can take them anywhere and they're free. And I believe that everybody should be equipped with these at any point. We should be screaming off the rooftop, sharing these with everybody, and we should all have access to these for free. So, like Joe Dispenza speaks, creating space between your stimulus and response. How do we do that? Well, we've all heard of breathing. But why does it work? What kind of breathing? How do I access it when I'm so overwhelmed, when I'm so anxious? Okay, check it out. The mind controls the senses, right? The sweating, the accelerated heartbeat. So the king of the senses is the mind. Now, what's the king of the mind? the breath. One of my yoga mentors, Lal Maharaj, teaches about taking your kingdom back. Your kingdom back, your life, your kingdom back through your breath. So the more oxygen that we flow into the brain activates the parasympathetic nervous system. And this is your rest and digest system. And the mind starts to calm down, sends signals to your body, I'm safe, everything's okay. The blood pressure lowers, heart rate lowers. This reduces the levels of stress hormones in the blood, leaving you feeling more relaxed, more present. Your muscles soften, you open. You don't need to call in your adrenaline and first responders for immediate danger. It's okay. You can sit and focus on the test. So, the breathing. Before we go through these breathing exercises, I want you to ask yourself now, on a scale of 1 to 10, be honest. How anxious do you feel in this moment? 1 being totally relaxed, 10 being way anxious, like 5 shots of espresso, like, fluttery. All right? And we're going to check in after these breathing techniques, and we're going to see how you feel then. Okay? So first things first, sit up straight. Plant your feet on the ground to ground you. I'm going to start with one that helps with a bilateral stimulation of the brain, and it was developed from EMDR therapy. So when you're feeling overwhelmed and scared and you need some self-soothing, this is what you can do, all right? You're going to link your thumbs and extend your fingers out toward either shoulder like a butterfly, all right? You're going to bring your hands to your chest and your fingertips toward the creases of the upper arm bones. And just begin to tap. Right fingertips, left fingertips, right fingertips, left fingertips. Just sitting and grounding. And this is really helpful for when you're feeling so scared, so scattered that you can't even focus on breathing or making yourself the right foods or meditating. Right? We're just going to be tapping left and right and left and right. And then begin to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now do this with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now add the breath. Inhale for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 5, 4 through the mouth. 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2 through the nose. 3, 4, 5. Exhale out the mouth. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. That's the butterfly hug. You may do that for 5 seconds, inhaling. You may want to build up your capacity to 10 seconds, to 20 seconds. And note, the longer that you exhale, the more you're going to calm your system. Okay? So the butterfly hug is accessible to you anytime. A great one for kids too. That's number 1. The second technique is called 5-finger breathing. What you do is extend out 5 fingers of your left hand. Grab your right pointer finger. Begin at the base of the thumb. We're going to inhale as you trace up the thumb. And then exhale on the inside of the thumb crease. Inhale, up the first finger. Exhale down the inside of the first finger. Inhale up the inner crease of the middle finger. Exhale down the outer crease of the middle finger. Inhale up the crease of the ring finger. And exhale down. Inhale up the pinky. And exhale down. Inhaling through the nose and out the mouth. You can always choose to come back if you like as well by going inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And notice just doing that 1, 2, 3 rounds, super calming. All right, that's the 5-finger breathing. The third technique is called box breath. Now, find anything that you have around you that's in the shape of a box. Like I'm looking right now at an electrical outlet, the computer screen, a container. All right. Now this one I used on my last exam even, in my life insurance exam, because you couldn't show your hands to the proctor, and this is what you can do without anyone else knowing you're doing it when you're feeling really, really overwhelmed and you want to get yourself clear. All right. So you find something that's the shape of a box anywhere around you. All right. And the box breath is so we're going to inhale as you look up the side of the box, and then hold the breath as you go to one of the corners. Exhale as you go down the other side of the box, and then hold the breath at the bottom until you meet the first corner. So it's an inhale up, hold, exhale down, hold. All right? The shape of a box. Now you can do this in a 5-second hold, 5, 5, 5, 5. You can do it 10, 10, 10, 10. There's a lovely up for 4 seconds, hold for 7, down for 8. It's a lot of words, it's a lot of numbers. Don't worry, just try it. We're gonna do it together, all right? So bring your eyes to the bottom left corner of your box, okay? You can look at your computer screen or your phone screen. No one has to know you're doing it, all right? All together now. We're gonna inhale for a count of 5. Up the box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now hold for 5 seconds as you trace along the upper corner. 4, 5. Exhale down the right corner. 3, 4, 5. Pause. Hold the breath at the bottom. Hug your belly in for 3, 4, 5. Here we go. Inhale up. Hold the breath. Exhale down. Hold the breath at the bottom. Inhale up. Hold the breath. Exhale down. Hold the breath. Inhale up. Hold the breath. Exhale down. Hold the breath. And you can do that for up to a minute. Yeah? So let's check in now. We have the butterfly hug. We have the 5-finger breathing. And we have the box breath. How do you feel on a scale from 1 to 10? Did anything change throughout this process? Now, if this is beneficial for you, try this breathing while you're studying, while you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed or afraid. And you can even visualize yourself self-soothing your own anxiety, passing your tests, practice generating those emotions that are associated with that, feeling the gratitude in your body, the accomplishment, the confidence, the peace. Yeah? And here's what I want to end with. No matter what age you are or your background, I want you to know that you are not alone. You're not crazy. Anxiety almost took my life many, many times. And anxiety disorders are really some of the most common mental illnesses in the US. And statistics show it affects more than 40 million adults, or about 20% of the population. And note that disorder and dis-ease and illnesses are just labels and boxes to keep you from hacking your mind and finding your way through. You are not your limits. Okay? And a lot of people aren't having these conversations. They don't have the tools. I didn't learn how to self-soothe and overcome my fear of failure by connecting to my inner parts and calming myself with box breath before a test. Did you? No. This really works. So I'm so happy to share this with you today. I hope this inspired you and supported you along your journey. Please share it with anyone that you feel might benefit. And know that we are all in this together. Now go crush that test. Bye-bye now.